Well, it's Monday. Welcome to the Lee Michaels Show. How are you doing? You made it through the weekend. Kicking off another week here on the powerofvoices.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Without you, it's just me and the cast of characters sitting around chatting. So thank you so much for making it a real show by being here, listening and watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and audio at thepowerofvoices.com. I had a great weekend. I hope you did too. A little rain here in Southern California, but it never rains. But when it does, it does. And that's the way it does. When it does, it pours. But we didn't get that much. It wasn't like catastrophic Midwest or East Coast pour. A little, I call them nice-sized showers. That's about it. And, just rock and roll and made it through it. How about you? Wish I could have you call in, but our phone lines are still jacked up. Apparently, it's not the lines itself. It's it's called a phone hybrid that allows us to take the call and send it out over the air. The modules are apparently defective. And I've been going back and forth with the manufacturer who happens to be in the Netherlands. And sometimes the language translation stalls progress. But I think we'll have it resolved here very shortly. Maybe in the next day or so. Anyway, we're here. And Carol's not here today. She's out on assignment. It looks like maybe everybody else. So you might have to put up with me all day. Well, not all day, but for the next couple hours. We'll have fun. Looking at some of the news headlines this morning, I see where Jared Kushner's sister was over in China pitching for some business to help fund this new project that they're building in New Jersey. And she accidentally mentioned the fact that her brother, who's now an advisor to the current administration, was the CEO. So she was doing a little name dropping. How convenient. No, there's no excuse for that. That was intentional. What do you think? We're really stupid? No. And that's what this entire administration's family is doing. Going around the world, cutting deals. And, oh, by the way, my brother is now an advisor to the Trump administration. Oops, damn it. I didn't mean to say that. So she's apologizing today. But come on. It's already out there. You can't take two on that. This is not a recording. This is live. You're meeting with people who are going to invest at least $500,000 into this project. These are people from China, the ultra rich in China. And why would they be interested in doing that? Because it buys a visa. How convenient. And no worries. My brother will make sure that you get rubber stamped quickly. When is somebody going to really, really put the pressure on these clowns for conflict of interest? Over the weekend here in Los Angeles, people formed the lettering of impeachment in downtown Los Angeles with an explanation point next to it. People standing, spelling out the word impeachment. That should be the headline. That should be major news. That's what we should be doing. Calling on Congress to enact impeachment. There's no reason that we should be talking about anything else. That should be front and center. There's too many conflicts of interest in this administration, from the top down. It's time to call this what it is, a horrible situation for the United States of America. And I know a lot of people are thinking that because I hear about it all the time as I'm driving around here in Los Angeles in my Uber Lyft job. People are talking about it all the time. But when will it happen? The time is now. That should be front and center, major news, what everybody should be talking about. So talk about it and get our Congress to act on it. Those chicken crap mofos. It's time for a toilet cleaning on the Congress as well. November 6, 2018. I say it every day. November 6, 2018. Write it down. Put it in your calendar in your phone right now. Make sure you're registered to vote. And any congressional member, I don't care whether they're Republicans or Democrats, if they're not serving your best interests and only serving theirs, vote them out. You want term limits? Vote people in who believe we should have term limits. That should be one of the prerequisites for getting your vote. Everybody's talking about, well, we should have term limits. Well, we do. It's just that you don't enforce it by voting. Sitting around, scratching your butt, scratching your head, complaining does nothing but keep the status quo. Think about it. You want term limits? Vote them out. That's a term limit, right? It's already built in. Let me welcome to the show my kick in the side, my friend, my colleague, and great broadcaster, journalist, and just a nice guy. Chris Bates, what's up, buddy? Wait a minute. Don't talk yet. Now talk to me. Duh.
Boom shakalaka, sir.
Boom shakalaka laka laka. I did say a nice person, right?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Okay.
And don't tell anybody, but it's too late, I guess.
I didn't mean that one.
That's
Okay, the bullshit starts now.
Yeah, those out there will probably say differently, but, it is what it is.
They don't count.
You're right. They're also chicken heads, I agree.
That's right. If the son-in-law to the president's sister can go to China and make a oops, so can I, and so can you.
There you go, right.
Now, can you imagine this? She's over there in China soliciting investors to invest at least $500,000 or more into this new building that they're building there in New Jersey somewhere. And by doing that, they get the fast track on the visa. Now, it's in her pitch to these ultra-wealthy Chinese people, and I have nothing against the Chinese. It's an opportunity for them and anybody else. They can afford to do it. They get the fast track. I don't know if I agree with the total concept of that, but it is what it is. That is a law that is called a EB-5 or something like. Let me pull this article up again. Did you get a chance to see that one?
Yeah, unfortunately, what we're looking at this time is just, it's pretty much what it is. It's in your face. We don't care about the American public. We don't.
No, they don't.
And we're doing things our way, and nothing you can do about it. That's the way they come off.
That's true. That is so true. Nah.
Exactly.
What you going to do
speaking
about
of which, it's funny you mentioned just in jest. Last week we got the whole Trump care thing being passed in the House.
Yep.
There was some coverage, on the House floor, and you heard chants of "nah, nah, nah, nah," "hey, goodbye," just on the House floor.
Yeah, they're kids. They're juveniles.
And I'm like, that's juvenile. That's sophomoric.
It is. It is, but it ain't gone till it's gone, dumbass. Now, people in the Senate are already saying, no, we ain't going to vote on this crap. We're going to write our own. You're going to rewrite the whole doggone thing. So, as I said on Thursday, There will be modifications in the Senate, but now their members in the Senate said, no, we're going to scrap the whole damn thing because we don't like it. It's not just, and we're going to come up with our own versions of it. So we're going to see. And they said they're going to take their time. So we might be talking about this 6 months down the road. Who knows?
That's true.
Who knows? But I'm glad to hear the Senate is not just going to rubber stamp this crap that the House put forth.
That is refreshing.
Yeah. Here's another reason that these congressional members in the House especially need to go. They need to go. They're sitting in there doing nothing and coming up with bad ideas, bad legislation, and it just needs to stop. And the only way to stop it is to get rid of them, flush the toilet. Now, we can fire these people. Mr. Trump doesn't have the same kind of power, and he just realized that. He can't just walk in and say, you, go get your pink slip is waiting for you in your office. We're going to give you one box and get the little crap that you've stole out of here. So he can't do that. We can, but he can't. And this dumb rabbit just found that out. Well, this is a tougher job than I thought. Oh, it's hard. Oh, no kidding. And y'all voted for this idiot. He's just having a revelation that being the president of the United States is not a little corporate job that you can just walk around and point at people and say, you're out of here. No. And President Obama warned this jackrabbit in their first meeting about the guy that got him in trouble. Flynn.
Flynn.
Yeah.
Right.
He told him, he said, hey, this guy ain't right, man. I know. I had him up under me. He ain't right. Don't do nothing with him. What did he do? Brought him in. He brought him in. So he doesn't listen. Man,
Yeah.
how can you ignore?
We used to listen.
How can you ignore a sitting president giving you a warning, a shot across the bow, saying, don't mess with this guy? I'm sure he gave him a shot across the bow about North Korea and several other morons around the world. Did he listen? No.
No, of course not.
What was he doing? Playing the suck-up game in the media to these people, thinking that he can lure them in and convince them to be nice. Sally Yates, is she on the stand yet? She's supposed to go before Congress today and testify. She's going to spill her guts.
Oh, sing like a Boyd.
Like a Boyd?
Like a Boyd.
I'm saying. Oh, boy. We got a new president elected in France, and he doesn't represent either party. He's a total independent. Now, this is going to be interesting to see how that works out. Now, you don't have any support from their so-called congressional, similar to how we're structured here. So he's an outsider. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in France. Let's see here. The father of the teenage shooting victim in Texas is suing the town. That was talked about a lot over the weekend in the news.
Right.
Man, it's so much stuff out here, man.
It really is. It really is.
It's gotten to the point of being pathetic. It's just how silly our new president is, how uninformed he is, how much of a bull in the china cabinet he is. And they think we're stupid, you know. And some of us are. Some of us are.
True.
Some of us are. We voted for him.
It's not too late to educate. I mean, it's not too late. It's not like Jesse Jackson. I'm sorry, but it's not too late to learn at the same time.
No question.
If you allow yourself.
So true.
Going back to what you said about 45, here's the outgoing president and Barack Obama telling him right after the election about Michael Flynn. Told him. Now, you could be against somebody's political, you know, mindset or how they operate, but if they've been in the office for 8 years, you gotta know something.
No, you're
So,
kidding me.
you know, I hate stating the obvious, you know.
Yeah, really.
So, having a conversation with the man, and he's telling you he's not right. He stinks to high heaven. Regardless of your political affiliation, you should take that into account. You should. Once again, we're dealing with
Yeah.
a man who does not listen to anybody
Yeah.
because he thinks he knows everything and knows his history. Andrew Jackson, the whole thing. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he's more than unfit. More than unfit to run this country.
He can't get fit if he went to the gym every day at 5 a.m. He couldn't get fit.
Can't do it.
Mentally or physically.
Can't do it.
No.
Is this
it's
about as good as it
impossible.
gets? Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible. Well, how you going to get rid of this guy, man? Come on, give me your plan. Come on, Chris.
There's two things that can happen. We always talk about impeachment and also the 25th Amendment. You have to prove that the current president is unfit to run the country.
Right.
So go back and check the 25th Amendment, and there's rumblings that that's happening now. So if that's the case, they got to build up, the history of this man, and then go forward to get him to remove himself from the chair. So those are only two options we have right now: the impeachment and the 25th Amendment.
Well, I think
That's it right now.
The 25th is out. This guy has an ego the size of the United States of America, so he's not going to admit that he's, got some mental issues. Not going to do that. I don't think that's a real option at this point. And I don't think we could put enough truth serum in his ass to make him say it. He's so stubborn, so egotistical, self-serving, that he would never think of doing that. Plus the puppets around him, including his family members, would never allow him to do that because that would make them look like Boo Boo the Fool as well. So I think the only real option, as I see it, is impeachment. Now, that may be more difficult to do, but at least in my pea brain, I know my IQ is not very high. I'm like maybe 10 points above plant life. I know a lot of people are dumber than me, but
Oh, stop it.
But I can see it. If I can see it, everybody ought to be able to see it. That this guy's just not capable, does he? And he does not want to be a good, clean-cut president. If it ain't going to help him and his family, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Well, not him per se. I mean, he's not, of course, not going to give up the throne. I mean, of course not. And what's going to happen is you're going to have individual people behind the scenes involved, in the White House to build up the case to go forward with that and make it stick. Now, once again, because of everybody being involved, everybody else's business, that's becomes murky territory. Because once again, if I got to out you, I got to out myself.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No, and that's the problem we have now because what he's doing is beyond being above the law. It's against the law. Everybody knows that. But once again, people got their hands in so many, dirty pies that a lot of people going to get busted if somebody comes forward.
So did you hear Keith Olbermann laid out a piece I think it was over the weekend I saw it. Did a little video clip on it. But he was saying that Comey even admitted in this latest testimonial he did that there is some action going on. There's 2 grand juries that are already convened, and they're investigating Trump directly and his connection with Russia. It's still on the DL, but Comey admitted that there was a collaboration between his office and the the state's attorney general in Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself it admits that at least there's some kind of investigation before the grand jury that is going on. That's a good thing. That is pleasing to my ears. That it's not just being talked about. it is an ongoing investigation. And I think until we find out yes, no, or whatever, maybe nothing involving the president, but we need to know. We don't know. We have no certainty. All we know is based on information that has been presented to the American people, there was some tampering, even if to the minimum point of Russians buying ads, fake ads. That's where the whole fake shit came from. Negative ads about Hillary and her campaign, and positive ads for the dumpster. We know that. That in itself is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can connect the dots that someone or Trump himself was in communication with the Russians to do that, then that's enough. That's enough for me. That's enough for me to say, gotta go. It's wrong.
I agree.
No two ways to look at it.
It makes sense to me too.
Yeah. So hopefully in this grand jury, evidence will be presented and they can voice an opinion and move this thing forward or kill it one way or the other. But we've got to clear the air. We've got to get rid of the smoke in the room and know what really went down. We got to know that.
Will we see another Woodward and Bernstein like they did in the 70s? To take down President Nixon. Are we beyond that, or is anybody going to come forward to say anything from where they're standing at?
I think there's some of that going on by some investigative reporter types. Certainly, it would be a major feather in their cap if they could reveal or find some information that's not being talked about at this point. That would be fantastic. And I know that there has to be some aggressive journalists out there doing exactly that. Now, that's going to be hinged on who they can get to collaborate the information. So that's where we are at this point. But I'm sure I would bet $100,000 of Mike Love's money.
Yeah, I'll take half of that, man.
I would bet $100,000 of Mike Love's money that is ongoing. There are journalists out there digging, trying to find what's really up. And I brought up Mike Love's name. Mike, are you there? These damn phones. I see you calling in, but I can't put you on the air. Maybe you could Skype in. Skype to The Power of Voices. The Power of Voices. Let me open up Skype and then bring you in through that. Don't tell me you don't have Skype, Mike. Michael Love. I'm going to open up. Mike, I'm hoping you're listening as you are bouncing around the streets there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I know you're tripping. The Power of Voices is our Skype name. If you want to connect with us through Skype, come on in. So yeah, I think there are investigative reporters out there doing exactly that. At least I hope they are. And a lot of the information that we know right now that's been, I wouldn't say leaked out, but presented, is through that very vehicle, investigative reporters, trying to find the truth.
Right.
And I encourage those reporters that are out there doing that to stick with it. Let's find out what really went down. There's so many clouds in the air, Chris. From my perspective, I mean, just plain and simple. Let's do it again. Let's be like the Staple Singers. Let's have a new election.
I agree.
And whether it's the same two candidates or somebody else pops up, so be it.
Right.
But let's clear the air. This is the United States of America, the country of integrity, the country that goes around to other countries all over the world, third world countries. existing countries that are kind of close to democracy, and we go in there and help them with their elections, and we can't get it right at home,
No, we can't.
then we got to fix that. We got to man up
You're
and say,
right.
hey, look, we blew it on this one. It wasn't intentional except for the people involved in it. But our democracy doesn't stand for this. So let's bust out the Staple Singer song and let's do it again. One more again.
Yeah. It'd be nice. That's too much like right. That would
Yeah.
be fantastic if that was to happen. But
I think that
You
should
know.
happen. I mean,
no,
let's
you're
clear
right.
the
It
air.
should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
But,
clear the
they're
damn
not gonna-
air. Impeach this
they're not
clown
gonna-
and a new election. Let's
They're
not just
going to
run
admit the
Pence up.
mistakes they made.
Yeah, let's not move him from the vice president house to the White House. No, he's a part of it too. He can't sit there and say, "Well, hell, man, I didn't know anything about that, and I agree, that he did wrong and he shouldn't be here." Well, no, mofo, you signed on to the job.
Right.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can't use that.
You knew the job wasn't easy when you took it.
That's right. No, he didn't know that. He's admitted that. He
Yeah.
said, I was a dumbass. I didn't know. I didn't
Right.
do my due diligence. I thought it was just like running my major company. Oh,
Oba Weber.
Weber. Now, I'll tell you, this would be funny.
Uh,
Right at the point of impeachment, his wife hits him for a divorce.
that would be sweet. Man.
That'd be
You talking about
the double down.
kicking the nads, man.
You know what? But I don't think she's really down with this clown. I think
Oh, I
she's
don't
there
think so either.
for monetary reasons only. She's living like a little queen. And I don't know. I don't see the body language.
Nothing.
Even the day that he was inaugurated and they're walking down the street, he's like pulling her. Come on over here,
Yeah.
damn it. Follow me, woman. I mean, it was
Stay by
just
my
so.
side so we can look good.
Yeah, come on. He's walking the opposite direction. It was just very, very awkward. There was no warm and fuzzy feelings coming out of that whole video. And other times, I mean, she's very stilted. She's not, if you look at even Hillary and Bill, they were more warm and fuzzy than this couple we've got now.
Well,
And-
they had the game. They had the game plan airtight at that point.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
the Clintons.
Yeah. And even the Obamas. I mean, love poured out when they were together. You could tell that there was true love there, that this is a family unit. This is no faking and baking.
Right.
So the bar is very high, set very high, and this guy is doing the limbo. He's going under the bar.
How low can you go?
Well, I'm looking at buying a submarine.
I don't blame you, man.
If we go in the
Right.
lower, I'm gonna need a submarine because this is like, whew. But that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what kills me is also, we've been going through this for a long time, of course, the classic double standard. Now, as you know, they're going after CBS late night host Stephen Colbert for the comments he made about 45. And I guess there's one thing he said about a sexual act that was, she shouldn't have said. So it was okay, of course, for Rush Limbaugh and Hannity and Mark Levine and those guys for 8 years straight to talk about Obama and his family.
right,
Yeah, that was all right.
of course.
There was one guy comes forward on CBS, makes the joke about 45. Oh my God, it's a travesty. How dare they talk about the president? I mean, I get tired of that. I mean, it's like, do you not understand where we're coming from here? We're talking about somebody who obviously does not know what he's doing in his office, and you want to pretend that everything is all right when it's not. And then here comes somebody who has a voice for people who are frustrated in this country, and Stephen Colbert, and he's not a character. This is him as himself, yet you can't handle it. As they say, you can't handle the truth.
Right.
All of a sudden, we have to find ways to get him fired. So once again, go back to the Limbaughs and the Hannitys crushing Obama and his family. Because my thing was this.
Yep.
Okay, you must go after the president. Okay, fine. Even though it's disrespectful, it's done every day. But leave his family out of it, which they did not.
No.
Went after the first lady and the children. That's just completely bad form.
It is.
That was
But
completely
now
wrong.
that we have a person in the White House that has media recognition, and I'm not even going to call it fame, because it's not fame, it's fake, recognition. That's all it is. He has high recognition in the radio business. When we did focus groups and perceptual studies and what have you on our air personalities, we found that there are some people that are very, very well known, high name recognition, but they sucked as a personality. Everybody knew him, but it didn't mean that they loved him or her. So you have to distinguish the difference. And I think that Trump has a high name recognition because of his media presence through the television show that he was on, and all of that, and his flamboyant, bling-bling personality in the media, period. And the gaudy places that he builds, this is butt-ugly stuff. It's just, I wouldn't buy. I looked at several of his condos in South Florida, and they were not well made.
No dice, huh?
No. No. I wouldn't buy it for 50% off. That's just how bad it was. So, yeah, it's a double standard, Chris. That's all it is. It's okay to make fun and criticize our first black president, but when the shoe is on the other foot, and listen, there's been comic strips or, little cartoons in the newspaper before there was internet, making funny faces of presidents in the past. I don't have a problem with that until you get real personal with it. Okay? And saying that the president, Obama's wife, is a man and a gorilla and all, and come on.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
But see, if somebody says something about our current first lady, that she's a previous, porn star or something like that, then...
Yes, they got it on the record. I mean, nude. Before she became a first lady, but once again, integrity, that's fine. That's okay.
And whatever a comedian or personality might say about this guy, the fact of the matter is what came out of his garbage mouth. Grab him by the you-know-what. I'm even uncomfortable in saying the word.
Right.
Even if
that was okay, though. That was just fine.
Chris, even if I was begging for something.
Now, wait a minute now.
If I was on bended knee, I would be reluctant about saying it. So, but it's okay. He got away with that.
Sir.
He got away with it. He's now
he did.
The crotch grabbing president out of his own damn mouth. And people say, "Oh well, that was a funny locker room talk."
Crap.
You,
bull crap.
Full of shit is what you are. You're just an evil, ignorant person yourself if you think that's okay. Let me say that. Now, Chris, you go ahead and say it.
Nope.
See? I'm smarter than that. My IQ is only 10 points above plant life.
I'll stop it, man.
Which means his IQ must be a lot lower than mine. He's off the Richter scale. We got to get a submarine to go find his IQ.
Oh,
it's so low. Come on. Yeah, they'll be calling up on me in a minute. They'll say, well, you said some negative things about the president. And your point is what?
But this is the same asshole that was going after SNL, Saturday Night Live.
Exactly.
Tweeting about Alec Baldwin making fun of him. All of a sudden, it's the worst show on television, needs to be unplugged. I mean, the dude is juvenile.
Beyond.
It's a juvenile punk and a bully.
Yeah, he is. Well, I go to bed every night with impeachment in my mind. I wake up in the morning and I still don't see any change.
Yeah.
So November 6, 2018, we can at least change the the people in Congress, both in the House and the Senate. And if you don't go to vote, this should be a record turnout. This midterm election should be equal to, if not bigger than, a presidential election. It's that important. It's that important for people to show out, turn up, be in the House, exercise your duty of voting to bring about the change. Because many of the players we have right now in Congress are stuck on stupid. If you think that this document that was just passed by the House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives, not some, house in Jiblipi, Mississippi, or throwback Minnesota. No. This is the United States House of Representatives that just put forth a document for us to get excited about, and it's nothing in it that is exciting. I had a doctor in my car over the weekend. He's from Colorado. He's one of those eye doctors. And we got to talking about the Affordable Care Act. His biggest complaint was the fact that the rates had gone up and it impacts on who he can see or not. He thinks that there are three groups of people, three groups of patients: the wealthy that can afford good health care, the people who are on Obamacare or some other subsidy program, and the extreme poor, the homeless that can't get anything until they're damn near dead or just don't know how to do it. So when he laid out that picture, I could see in my mind the complexity in how the doctors are looking at this. Now, he's saying, look, if it was not for my real estate investments, the money that I make as an eye doctor wouldn't afford me a great lifestyle. And he says, and I've grown to be accustomed to a certain lifestyle. He's got a couple of houses in different places, and, he can fly around and do things. He was here at a medical conference and staying at one of the upscale hotels. Now, that being said, these guys go to school. They pay a lot of money. Many of them have student loans like everybody else. Some don't. And they're looking to recoup those dollars to be able to pay those student loans and live a nice lifestyle like most doctors have become accustomed to. So they've had to cut back and live with the new rules and regulations as relates to the insurance mandates. Now, he explained to me, he says, look, insurance companies call doctors and say, look, we can send you 50 patients a day, and it's going to be at a low rate. He threw out $5 a patient. I think he was just, throwing out a number, I hope. Mm-hmm. But he says, I could work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8, 9 o'clock at night and see patients that are being sent to me or approved by the insurance companies, and I would work like a machine and not make a lot of money. I said, okay, I understand that. That's a tough one. He says, but that's being pushed by the insurance companies because their first objective is to make more money off of these clients that they're sending to you. So you have to agree to this lowball number in order to get the money that they're willing to spend with you. He gave me an example of another doctor friend of his that's seeing 45 patients a day and has no life. When he leaves the office, he has to go crash and burn. He says, I want to be able to go to the gym in the morning and not come in until 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And some days I might not see a patient till noon. He says, but if I were to go along with the insurance companies, I would be a slave. And that's not the life that I want to live. I think he said he was 59. So the ripple effect from all of that's going on and being mandated and pushed by the insurance company is very ugly across the board. Towards the hospitals. When my son told me the last surgery that he had was the hospital bill was I think he said $120,000. He's got insurance coverage from his job, works for American Airlines. So he's covered. But the agreed upon price was less than half of that. So either the hospitals are inflating the price or they're being beat down by the insurance companies and what they're willing to pay for the use of that hospital. And then the doctor bills are adjusted downward. So I get it. So my question again is, are the bills inflated intentionally so that they can negotiate it down to maybe what they really need to get out of that to stay in business? Or are the insurance companies using a heavy hand and making them agree to what they want to pay? I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah, I go along with that too. I think so as well. I think that well, I told you, like, my physician quit because he got tired of the politics with the insurance companies and being dictated to what he should mandate to his patients. And they're always trying to push something, and so he decided to quit. And once again, I mean, I told you before, out of all the physicians I've had, he's been the best for me. And you know, I'm still sorry to see him go, but I applaud his moral compass on what he wants to do with his life. So it is what it is. And he told me various people in the medical profession are quitting because of those and not similar reasons. And I'll give you an update real quick. Ex-acting Attorney General Sally Yates will testify at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, great. So she is about to go on stand.
Yeah, about 15 minutes from now.
Excellent. Man, if we can find some audio or video on that, we'll bring it to you live as well. So, because that should be pretty interesting. They're gonna, Republicans are gonna try to beat her up, try to discredit her, but I'm sure she'll get an opportunity to put some stuff out there that maybe we didn't know, and that's what I'm hoping to hear. Yeah, the Obamacare Act. Obama health care was not perfect. Even Obama admitted that. But it was better than nothing at all. And I think that if they just made it better, correct the mistakes that the Republicans actually put in there. But see, they can't do that because it would expose them in terms of the dirty politics they played in the beginning.
Right.
So we have to repeal and replace. Repeal and replace. I heard that so many damn times over the past 7.5 years. When I hear it now, I want to throw up. Because it's where is it? You had 7 years to come up with a replacement. And the House presents their the second version, and it's a miserable failure. It's not any better. They move those expenses from one column to another. You know, they're just playing a numbers game. Single pairs sounding better and better every day.
I'm surprised I haven't gone back to drinking at this point.
No, don't go there, man.
I mean,
don't do it.
I mean, I'm trying.
Don't do it.
Dude, I'm trying, man, but
don't do it.
Just
don't let them get you like
beer. I'm trying to stay away from, but ooh-wee, man, I'm telling you.
Don't do it. Just.
I'm trying. Got to get off the ledge, doctor.
Just got to say no. I ain't gonna let them do me like this. Nope. Don't do it.
Can't do it. I'm trying though.
Don't do it. Don't succumb to the crazy that's going on in not just in this country, but around the world. You know?
Right. Speaking of crazy, I didn't hear Carol today.
No, she's on assignment. She called me at 7:00 this morning when I'm like in a coma. Yeah, I'm like, because I didn't go to bed until like 4. That was doing the night shift.
Right.
I was out there on the road.
Yeah, you and the Commodores.
Yeah, that was the theme of the ride. When people got in, that's what they heard, the night shift, and I would say to them, "Welcome to the night shift. Hi, I'm Uber Lee. I'm Uber Lee. Welcome to my ride." What is your destination today?
Oh, man.
No worries. I'm like the Staple Singers. I'll take you there. Then I bust out on them. Boom.
Man, they walking in a floor show.
Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely, man. Come on. I got a captive audience. They can't turn me off. They can't go to another channel. Shit. Come on, man. DJ Lee in the house like a child on punishment. I'm on lockdown. You can't get away from it. What are you going to do? Jump out of the car?
No, y'all
cancel the ride.
They can't go nowhere, right?
And at that point in time, most of them are drunk. Oh, man, I got to tell you this one. Get a ride about 3:25 a.m. L.A. time. And it's over in an area where Google, Yahoo, and YouTube. It's kind of like a little high-tech area. And then there's a lot of apartments and condos wrapped around it. So a lot of the people that work at these establishments.
Silicon Valley type stuff.
Yeah, it's not too far from where I live. So I get a call. I go over there, and there's 3 guys, young guys, probably in their 20s, sitting on the curb. One guy is like in the head, bent over, drunk stupor. He's like passed the freak out, right?
Right.
The other 2 guys are trying to get him up to get him in the car. Says, oh, shit, this is when I got to make sure I got the barf bag ready because this guy's ready to go. So I whipped it out. It's like a blue plastic bag with a plastic collar around it about the size of a grapefruit. And so I got it ready. I said, is he going to throw up? And they said, no, he did that already. So I said, well, maybe I can get lucky if it's a short ride. He said, yeah, this is a short ride. Anyway, 3 Asian guys. They've been out drinking and partying and having a good time. And so the 2 of them get in the car, and the other guy waved by. Bye, man. He's a little thing, and he walks off and went to his house. So the other 2 guys get in. The drunk is in the back seat. The other guy's up front with me. I said, so where are we going? So I hit the start thing, and it's in the same neighborhood. So he says, well, we're going to stop at 2 places, his place and my place. I said, okay, let's go. So we go to his place, the guy up front first. So now I'm stuck with the guy in the back that's drunk past the freak out, right? I'm going, oh, Lord, I'm going to have to drag the sucker out and put him on the curb. I will. I'll do it. So I get to the final destination. And I said, hey, we're here. We're at home. He didn't answer. He's like leaning over like in the seat like sideways. Almost laying completely down in the back seat. I said, oh, Lord, I got to go back here and get this guy out of the car now. So I got out, I opened up the door, and I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, hey, we're home. He didn't respond. So I first checked to make sure he was still breathing.
Check his vitals, man.
Right. He was still alive. So I got him to wake up and respond a little bit. I said, hey, we're at your place, man. Let's roll. I said, you want me to help you get out? He looked up and saw his place. He said, okay. So he tried to get his feet out of the car first. That wasn't working. I had to help him get out of the car. But let me tell you how drunk this guy was.
Uh-oh.
You ever seen a drunk take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back?
Yeah.
He was dancing, man. This was so funny. And I was trying to get my iPad out, and I couldn't get it fast enough to get to the camera part. Let me see. I was able to take one still picture. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, yep, I got him. But he was, there he is walking. He was walking into the parking lot of the building that was where he lived. Let me see if I can get that a little closer. So you can see that his head is down, and at the moment that I took this picture, he was making a little more forward movement than back. But when he got out of the car, he went around the back of the car, got up on the sidewalk. He was doing that little drunk dance. He got to the entrance to this parking lot.
Oh, okay, I see it.
And the incline was working against him. It just wasn't working for him. So he went a little bit forward and like 4 steps back into the street. He tried to move forward again, and he was moving sideways. His feet just was not coordinated. Oh, man, I wish I could have gotten the video on that thing. That was hilarious. But he made it in there some kind of way. So I guess he made it to his apartment. But it was.
Feet don't fail me now.
Oh, I was praying for him. It was hilarious.
Oh, okay.
But that's probably the drunkest one that I've had so far. I mean, there have been a couple guys that fall asleep and you tap them on the knee and they wake up. But this guy was comatose. I had to help him out. And a young guy. I mean, I can't imagine what he's going to be when he hits 50.
Ooh-wee.
Can you imagine that?
He's an old drunk.
Old drunk. Yeah. So these guys probably work at one of these high-tech companies over there. It was hilarious. So after him, I packed it in. I said, okay, that's it. I'm done for the night.
Not to promote alcoholism, but my dad drank, and my uncles did, and my aunts. I mean, that's what you did. You smoked and drank. I mean, that was like what they grew up on.
Right.
So my uncles, they revered my dad. So, but when my dad wasn't around, they give me that. It's like uncle nephew time.
Right.
So it's like, especially if a woman was around, and I told my uncle Sylvester, he was just, he should have been pimp of the year like 3 times in a row.
Pimp of the year.
He should have been 3 times in a row. That dude, man.
3-time winner.
So the beer of choice was always the champagne of beers, Miller.
Right.
So they would drink Miller all the time. And I remember my uncle was telling me, look, when you get older, look, you gotta have at least about two to 3 women. I know your dad told you that shit already. I'm like, well, yeah, you gotta have two to 3 women, man, because one gonna.
Wait a minute, you said 2. Does that mean 22?
He said 2 to 3.
Oh, 2 to 3. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So
yeah, you gotta have 2 because he was stuttering. Because
right.
he got drunk. So it sounded like 22, right?
2 to 3. Is that 223?
Yeah, shoot, I can't even do 2, let alone 2.
Right. Well, that's not what Laura said, but I'm not going to bring that up.
Laura's on a whole different stratosphere.
Is she out there this morning?
I haven't seen her come up on the thing there.
Okay.
Well, I won't. You're going to evoke her name in this whole conversation, right?
Well, it seemed fitting at the moment, but I apologize.
No, it did not, no. No, okay. You know what you were doing, man.
I'm tired, man. I've been up all night. So, give the old man.
You do when you have rest.
I did not. No. Yeah, I'm not like that, man. Come on.
Sure?
Sure,
yeah.
Whatever you say, fool. I heard that. I heard it.
Right.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry. Go ahead with your story.
No, that's all right. I'm just talking about, alcohol that people get drunk and stuff. So, but my dad wasn't around, little conversations like, look, man, when you get older, man, you got a lot of women around you, man. So you a good looking motherfucker, man. So, look, man, I'm just letting you know right now, when you get older, man, it's going to be a whole different thing.
He didn't call you the MF, did he?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That was a good uncle, man. He was keeping it real for real.
They all did. They all were just like that, yeah.
Man, see, this is when you need video from those little sessions.
That would be sweet, man. And we need the same technology we have now back then.
Yeah, I ran some audio, some tape on my Uncle Bill. He was like the best uncle of all time. And I wanted to capture some of the family history and, how we became who we are. So I had him in his family room one day, and I must have rolled 3 hours of tapes on him. And he told stories and stuff that I'd never even heard of or heard from anyone else in the family. And he told me a story about when he went to seek on his father's side was black and white. And he went to seek that side, the white side of the family that lived there in Virginia. It was in the country part of Virginia. And he went to the house of one of I think this guy might have been, what did he say? Was it a cousin? No. My grandfather was the offspring of a mixed situation. I don't know if it was a marriage involved, but the white side of the family never wanted to acknowledge him because he was not a full-blown white person. So he went to the house of, I want to say it was the brother of the guy that gave birth to my grandfather. So he went to the house, rang the doorbell, and the lady came to the door, and he introduced himself. She says, "Oh, my God. So you're the son of Will Clements." She says, "I've heard about him. And most of the people in the family don't want to talk about it." She said, "I would invite you in, but if my husband should happen to come home, he would be very irritated." So she stood there on the porch and talked to him for a while and shared some information about that part of the family. And lo and behold, the husband rolled up. And she introduced him, and he goes, "I've heard about you." That southern accent. He says, "But I think you need to mosey on now." And then I'm not talking like 1940s or 50s. If I remember correctly, this might have been in the 70s. And all of them were old at that point, But he was just trying to go back and make a connection with that part of the family. But they didn't want to have anything to do with it, even then. No, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it.
Right.
How you can
I don't blame you.
disown another human being.
Well, it's easy. We don't consider him a human being. And, it's all right to do things to them. Hey, it's all right to buy them. It's all right to sell them. It's all right to have them do all the manual labor. It's all right for slavery. It's all right for that. All right, even for concubines and sex. But as a human being, hell no. No, you don't even fit in that category.
Right.
Yeah, damn shame.
Well, so I captured all of that. And I had one of those little miniature dictaphones. I have to get it transcribed before the tape goes to hell. But I want to keep that. I want to, not just that particular story, but I want to keep all the stories that my Uncle Bill shared with me. Because if you don't know where you come from, you never know where you're going to end up.
Exactly.
You have no foundation, no
Exactly.
path. And not that would change me in any way, shape, or form, but at least you know where you come from. Let's see. I'm pulling up the stream here. So Mrs. Gates ought to be just about starting her testimonial. Why do I have two live things going on at the same time on Facebook? Okay, let's look at some of the comments that are being shared with us.
You talked up Laura, so she's in there.
Hey, Laura. What's up? No fear, Trump is here, Bobby Stamps. Bobby's a clown. The power of money. Yeah, you're right. Jace, how you doing, buddy? The video is skipping, but the audio is smooth. Just a heads up. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know why that would be. It could be my connection or yours or a combination thereof. Yeah, Darius said he's glad the drunk Uber driver didn't barf in the car. But
Yeah.
get out of here. Laura says, I'm here. Haley Michaels and Chris. You see, she's being nice, so you can't be mad at Laura.
No. I'm being nice too.
Yeah. I know it's hard, but just work with it. You
No, I
never
have
know.
no problem. As a matter of fact, when I did my home base last week,
Mm-hmm.
she chimed in on that. I gave her a great plug for, of course, the Power of Voices here.com and also for her program.
See, that's a beautiful thing. There's
I think so.
There's a good bone in your body. We just haven't found it yet.
Now, I got one good bone. That's a whole different conversation.
I'm sorry, I used the wrong example on that one. My bad. That was a good setup for you, though. Boom, 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 ching.
Thank you.
Good one. Okay. I'm just looking through some of the headlines here to see what's changed in the last hour that we can chime in on. You got any?
You know what? Before you start doing that, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, now are you mentioning? Okay, as a matter of fact, you have a birthday coming up soon, and
Who cares?
no, I'm not trying to prove a point. Don't get testy yet.
I've earned
what
that
is
right. I could be testy. I'm an old geezer.
Go right ahead. Be testy all you want to. You got two of them. You got two testies. Go right ahead.
Last check.
Yeah, right. You don't be called one nut. So no,
No, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. Help me out. You've been around a lot of people, of course. What is it about certain people who are really pro zodiac signs? Because you have a conversation with people, I'm this and I'm a Pisces, I'm this. I already know that. Why do people keep preaching that? I mean, just from your experience, I'm like, I already know who the hell you are from that perspective. Why must you always keep chanting it?
The limited ability to have a conversation beyond the zodiac sign. They're probably still stuck in the 60s and 70s. First thing, look at how they're dressed. Then try to strike up a conversation about something else. And typically that is it. It's a warm-up act at best to a conversation. Yeah, I mean, hell, I used to use it back in the late 60s and early 70s. Hey, baby, what's your zodiac sign?
Oh, yeah, I get that from back in the day. I'm talking about like right now, 2017, somebody like my age.
Well, they're still trying
49, who still use that type of crap.
Well, they're still, their limited ability of carrying on a conversation.
Damn,
plain and simple.
Crap, man.
Now, I'll give you an example. Apollo.
Okay.
Apollo. Come in, Apollo. Ground control to Major Apollo.
Houston, we had a problem.
Okay, now we got you.
I got you. I had the mic plugged in. That usually helps if you plug the sound gun in.
Why would you ever unplug a microphone?
Well, I plug it into the audio interface when I come to you guys. So I have
Oh.
it plugged in the front.
I got you. Okay.
What's crack-a-lagging down there?
We're just, we've kind of raked your president over the coals a little bit.
Oh, hell.
And
See, he's a fire walker. He walks over the coals every day.
right, that's true. That's
Did
what
you
I
play
never
that
thought
piece of
about that.
audio
But
I
you're right.
sent you?
No.
Did you get it?
When did you send it? Today?
I sent it. I posted it on your profile. I said you got to play this on the show today.
Oh no, I didn't see it. I wasn't looking. So my apologies.
Yeah,
there, my
go on
friend.
your profile page. Lee Mizzle.
Now it's not none of this bovine now, is it?
No, this is nothing negative. It's a it's new rule. Play that, please play that.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna pull
Yeah, it's
it
called
up here.
New Rules. It is absolutely
Is that from?
it pulled. Let me tell you this. It pulled my card.
Pulled your
It
card?
actually it held a mirror up to me.
Mm.
And my daughter and I watched it Saturday. I'm like, damn, Bill Maher just pretty much pull my damn card.
He got you, huh?
The mindset I was in last October.
Okay.
You know, where I couldn't bring myself to vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, for those of you who said, I just can't vote for her, she's the lesser of two evils. If you were like me and you wrote Bernie's name in because you just couldn't bring it to yourself, this kind of, I'm going to learn from this mistake. Yeah, I'm going to learn from my mistake, I think.
Okay.
And you tried to tell me, Lee. I mean, I got to say that you tried to tell me.
Yeah, you said, Lee, you're just an old fool. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, a hard head make a soft ass, as Grandmama used to say.
Oh, man.
So,
How many times did I hear that one?
Yeah, same here.
So, I mean, I actually had to experience the consequences of my actions, along with the people that voted for Jill Stein. And if everybody who had voted for Gary Johnson and Jill Stein had voted for Hillary, we wouldn't be in this situation right now.
That's true. Well,
But
see, a
it's
lot of
real
these
quick.
candidates are
Go
put in
ahead.
there to be spoilers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Ross Perot probably worked for Clinton because he split the Republican ticket.
Right. Okay, I've got this video. Let me.
Yeah,
Bring
play
that
the audio from that. It's absolutely brilliant.
And finally, new rule now that the media, the White House, and political junkies have made such a big deal about the first 100 days. Let's stop doing that. 100 days, it's such an arbitrary number, like waiting a half hour to swim after you eat, or waiting for the third date to have sex, or not having a drink until 5 o'clock. Who fucking made that? But in the case of Donald Trump, I will say this about 100 days. It does give us enough evidence to ask those liberals who couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary because she was the lesser of two evils, quite a bit lesser, wouldn't you say now? And no, this isn't about reliving the last election or about my great love for Hillary, which never was. It's about winning the next election. And that begins with learning the difference between an imperfect friend and a deadly enemy. Jill Stein said of her electoral rivals, Hillary and Trump, to me, one is death by gunshot wound, and the other is death by strangulation. Well, I'm sure with Trump in charge and a racist attorney general, there'll be a lot more of both. My dear friend Cornel West said during the campaign, I think Trump will be a neo-fascist catastrophe and Clinton will be a neoliberal disaster. I don't even know what a neoliberal disaster even means, but whatever it is, isn't it better than a fascist one? Have you people lost your fucking minds? Now, I can't possibly list all of the lies, fuck-ups, reversals, conflicts of interest, and embarrassments Trump has committed in 100 days. I'd have to stop halfway through to shave. But honestly, under Hillary, would we have Attorney General Foghorn Leghorn? Or Montgomery Burns in charge of the EPA? Or Rick Perry guarding the nukes? Would she have a cabinet made up almost entirely of rich, straight, white men? You know, Hillary, she knows quite a few black people. Trump knows 2. I'm sorry, 3. Oh, and we also might have a Secretary of Education who was smarter than a 5th grader. Before the election, Edward Snowden tweeted, 2016, a choice between Donald Trump and Goldman Sachs. Yeah, so what happened? The anti-Wall Street crowd that was too pure to vote for Hillary ended up putting Goldman Sachs people as Trump's top political strategist, the head of his economic council, and our Treasury Secretary, the trifecta. The only people he hasn't hired from Goldman Sachs are Goldman and Sachs. If Hillary was president now, would we be turning the clock back on the one issue for which there is no more time, climate change? Would we be having to wonder if our president's love of dictators foreshadows some kind of coup here? Would anyone have to wonder if she was Putin's bitch? And instead of trying to kick millions off health care to pay for a tax cut for herself, she'd be trying to raise her own taxes to get more people covered. On so many issues, she wouldn't be complaining. It's complicated. Who knew? She knew. She loves complicated. She's a reader. Do you really think if just as evil Hillary had been elected, conservatives would now be in control of the Supreme Court, as they will for decades? Just wait until the 5-4 decisions start rolling in, gutting unions, making it harder for minorities to vote, siding with polluters, overturning abortion rights. Then maybe you'll join me in saying to the liberal purists, go fuck yourselves with a locally grown organic cucumber. And I haven't even mentioned the insulting, the feuding, the whining, the tweeting, the family. Would she want her spouse to be living hundreds of miles away? Okay, that one might be true. And if none of that has swayed you so far, how about this? If we elected Hillary Clinton, finally, we'd have a president who didn't play fucking golf.
Well,
There it is.
there it is.
Man, great commentary.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. He always brings it home like that. You know, I got to give it to
Yeah.
him. He's one of my
But
favorites.
I haven't.
Absolutely.
I love the organically grown cucumber.
I knew that you would.
Yeah.
Alpha is trying to call. Alpha, I can't take your call because our hybrid system here is jacked up, and we hope to have it fixed in the next day or so.
When is Compton Communications coming over there to work on that?
Yeah, it's the board. Yeah, may have to send it back to the Netherlands to.
For the third time.
Yeah.
It's got all that THC in the damn
Right.
in the contact.
Yeah. So,
Anything for the Netherlands gonna have a little tar build up on it.
see in the room high as a
Yeah.
kite, huh?
And they're putting them together in the coffee shop over there.
Yeah. Smoking. Man, let me tell you, at least 4 times last night and the night before, I pull up to a stoplight or a stop sign or whatever, and cars that pass me going in either direction, it's like the cars are on fire. There's so much smoke coming out of them. Either they're doing, what do you call that new pipe? Vapor?
Oh yeah, the vaporizers.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about coming out of the windows.
Yeah.
That's the vape lifestyle. It's some bourgeois horse crap.
Yeah.
And they see how much smoke they can blow out and it's not FDA approved. It's full of chemicals and it's safer, but
It's safer than
ignorant.
tobacco?
No, that's what the manufacturers tell them, but the FDA has not really
Signed off on
investigated
that,
these
yeah.
things, right? And now they're saying it has formaldehyde in it and all this other stuff. I mean, you're taking a fluid, you're heating it up, creating a vapor, and you're blowing out. They say it's just water vapor. Well, I think there's more than water vapor in there because you can get different scents, and so they're
Yeah.
putting aromas and stuff in
That's
there.
true.
And
Vapors.
some of them
feel
are,
it.
yeah.
Nothing can save
Biz
you.
Marquis should come out with his own vapor. You caught the
I'm in.
vapors.
Yeah. He make a lot
Yeah.
of money on that crap, man.
But they say it's healthier. I'm not convinced, and there's a certain subculture of, at least in my own understanding, it's middle to upper class bourgeois white people who blow their vapors. It's
I'm
'cause
saying
it ain't cheap. Them damn things cost You get these ones that I thought a guy was about to shoot himself. It looked like he had a gun barrel in his mouth, and I thought, damn. It looked like a pistol he had in his mouth. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, don't do it. Oh, it's a vaporizer. I'm sorry.
And then the other one, equally as bad. I mean, even going down the 101 or the 10 or whatever, and you pass somebody, and you go, "Damn, did I run over a skunk? What the hell is that?"
That's that good. That's that good stuff. That's that sticky icky
I
right
get
there,
contact
baby. That's that
highs on the
skunk weed.
highway. Yeah,
I ain't mad at you.
I'm going, "Damn, I hit another
You know what that
skunk?"
smells like. You're a child of the 60s and 70s. Don't act like you don't know what that is.
I know exactly what it is, but it's just amazing that it must be so much of it that, I mean, I've got my windows up, so it's coming through my air ducts.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at, I had a lady in the car.
It could have been a skunk, too, Lee. Now, it could
No,
have been
there
a
ain't that
skunk.
many skunks in the world.
But you must have been following somebody that was putting it in the air. It's going down.
Yeah. It was LIVE, live.
Oh, yeah. What were you behind? You were either behind Snoop or Willie Nelson's tour bus, one of the two.
Well, it was something. But, I mean, at least 4 times last night I could smell it.
On the road again.
I had a lady in
Can't
the
wait
car,
to smoke.
and she was a little hard of hearing. I said, "Do you smell that?" She says, "What?" I said, "You smell that?" She goes, "Oh, yeah. It's very strong." I said, "Yeah, and we have the windows up." So I wonder, can you get the contact from the smell, or is it the smoke?
No. You have to inhale the smoke. And it
Oh,
has to
okay.
go into your lungs and then into
Okay,
your
but
bloodstream.
not the smell itself.
No. Not unless you got a vaporizer. But I mean,
No. Now, do they use marijuana in the vapes?
absolutely. It's a healthier form of getting the drug into your system because you don't get the smoke. You just heat you put it in there, heats it up, and you just inhale the vapor, and you don't get all the smoke and the stuff that that comes with the smoke, the toxins that are. Anytime you put smoke in your lungs and hold it, you're, it's not healthy.
In this day and
Cause
time,
cancer.
in this day and time, with as many years as we've had talking about the ill effects of smoking cigarettes or cigars or whatever, why would anybody have the audacity to ask if they could smoke in your car?
Right.
I looked at this guy, asked me, he says, "Sir, do you mind if I smoke in your car?" I didn't know whether to hit the brake or smack him in his mouth.
You got to put a no smoking sign on the inside.
Then
there.
I'm gonna look like a damn taxi cab. I mean,
Well, you are. You're just a glorified taxi cab, Lee. I mean, let's just own up to it.
come on,
I
man.
mean, it is what it is.
Damn.
It's like if I'm an escort and I'm selling it on Backpage, and I mean, you're a whore. You're a whore. You're just an internet whore instead of you ain't working on the corner. So you're basically a Backpage taxi cab.
Damn, man. You just took everything out of me now, man. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
well,
at least
at
you're a
least-
high dollar hoe. At least
And I can speak English.
At least your cab don't smell like curry.
Exactly. But listen, so I said to the guy, I said, "Well, look, man, that's I'm gonna say it the way I said. I said, that shit ain't good for you, man. I would really prefer you not doing that." I said, "I don't even have ashtrays."
As you eat some fried chicken and ice cream.
I don't eat that.
You
no
know what?
more.
I'm gonna say this. It's real easy for me. I'm talking about my own personal experience. It's so easy for me to be judgmental of other people's issue. I can say I see preachers stand up in church and say, "Smoking won't send you to hell, but it sure will make you smell like you've been there." And then they're up there 70 pounds overweight, killing
Right.
themselves with food.
Right.
You know?
We're gonna have a little
So we
Passover
all-
after the sermon today. Sister
Yeah.
Sarah brought some collard greens and some
Right, and
some
fried chicken.
cornbread.
We all have a needle. Everybody has a drug of choice. It may not
Yeah.
be cocaine or alcohol, but you may sit at home on a Friday night, go on eBay and order some useless crap on a credit card that's almost maxed out because you have issues. You know, but really we all have something that we try to use to make us feel better instead of plugging into God. All of us do. All
Everybody
of
has
us.
everybody has a vice.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Damn.
Most of the greatest men in that holy book, the ones that God used, had issues.
Like what?
All of them. All of the great men of the Bible had problems. Hell, Noah was a drunk. He was.
He was drinking the
And
good
he chose him to save mankind, to preserve it while he flooded the rest of us out.
one. Yeah.
He sobered up quick.
Yeah. Hard to drive a boat drunk. But he looked.
You're on the roll.
But I mean, most of the great men of the Bible had issues.
Yeah.
You know, they had problems.
Fornicating and all kind of stuff, huh?
I'm a real Christian. I got blemishes, man. I got, and God is my gemologist. He's the only one that can polish them joints out of me. Alcohol couldn't do it. Women couldn't do it. Pussy couldn't do it. None of that could do it. You know, they weren't my problems. They were the solution to my problems. But I was leaning on those understandings. I didn't come to preach today. Come on now. Get back on something else.
It's too late. You already started.
Yeah, you got to finish this sermon.
Wow.
Well,
sir.
I'm just saying, God is the gemologist. If you let him, he will polish those blemishes out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're perfect, then he'll bring you home, and you'll be a crown, and you'll be a jewel in his crown. But I mean, you got to let him polish them out. I think that's why he's let me live through so much, because he ain't done with me. He got to polish me a little more. So I try to hold on to a few because I like being down here with y'all.
He had to go work on his polish, man, because he's gonna need a lot of polish.
He had to go
to straighten you up.
He had to go get a big skill saw. He's like, this little one ain't doing it. This little router ain't doing it.
This hand spit shine is too rough. Let me go get me a buffer on this one.
Yeah, I need
A
yeah,
buffing
that's right.
pad.
Hawk.
And you ain't said nothing but the truth right there, because I had it.
Yeah,
I was an egomaniac with an inferiority complex.
That's real serious.
A lot of us in radio.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd never had enough ego. You know, I was
Well,
kind of.
you got to have an ego to be good, I think.
I was stupid.
What better line of work to go into? You can sit in a room and be whatever you want to be.
That's true.
And I don't think it's by coincidence that I worked in padded rooms all my life, because I'm a little fucking crazy.
That's soundproofing. They didn't
Yeah,
put you
but,
in the pink room. The pink room is for
But
crazy
it's just
people.
an irony to me. It's the irony of, damn,
Yeah.
I'm in a padded room all my life. You know? Hello.
Yeah.
That's God speaking to me right there. Like,
Yep.
yeah, boy, you crazy. That's why I put you in
Put
here.
you there and put a microphone in there so you can entertain yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, that's something there's a lot to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be too far off base, my man.
We all a little crazy. Some of us are crazier than others. Some of
that's
the most
true.
brilliant artists in the world were batshit crazy.
Yep. Most of the best talent I've worked with had issues.
Right. I think that's because doors in their mind are propped open, those doors of creativity, which allow demons out into their being, you know, and some get through it. I'm getting
Right.
through it, and I'm grateful.
And that's what sets them apart from anybody else. You know your own story, and people who are creative like that, they have their own way of doing things. We may look at things like A, B, and C. They may have a scattered brain, or maybe look at alphabet altogether different.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when people like a Picasso, or dare I say like a Michael Jackson or anybody else, who were just really just on an island by themselves, but their message was so strong, you
Right.
gravitate towards that.
Right. That's right. But it's real easy for me to look at somebody that does meth or snorts or shoots pills or puts needles in there. I'm like, damn, dude, why can you do that? While I'm totally oblivious to my own issues, you know, because I struggle every day with just myself, You know, I don't struggle with drugs or alcohol anymore, but I struggle with my own defects. You know, where am I acting selfish? Where are my true motives in everything that I do? What are my motives? To be of service or to be of selfish? You know, and I have to check that every day.
It was funny you mentioned that. The late Robin Williams, I was reading an article about this before he passed away. And of course, he had to, suffer from, dealing with drugs and, the suffering of not doing them. So there was a story that someone had printed about him leaving the set of Mork and Mindy, like one of the last few days of wrapping up. And somebody said, hey, Robin, gonna go across the street and get high. You want to come? And he says, yes, and walks away, but didn't go across the street.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He did want to come, but he knew he couldn't.
Right. Exactly. That's deep, man.
In 1996, this is hilarious, but in 1996, I was sitting in the detox center in Charlotte, North Carolina. First time I'd ever been to a detox center. And they're going to put me in 28-day treatment. And so we're sitting in the TV room, and the old Chevy Silverado truck commercial is playing. You remember that for the Chevy truck?
Yeah.
And they used Bob Seger. They used that Bob Seger song, Like a Rock.
I remember that.
So we're sitting in there, and that song goes, Like a Rock. And this brother says, hell, actually, I would right now. And I'm like,
pass it on.
You crazy as hell.
Yep. That's funny. Timing.
True story. I'm like, this fool. Actually, I wouldn't mind one.
Yeah. Right. How many you got there, buddy?
Woo.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Life experiences, man.
How was your weekend? Both of you? How were your weekends?
I had a good weekend.
Pretty good.
You know what I was doing.
We know Uberly, but look, you got to tell Apollo, what do you do when somebody enters your cab at night?
You call it a cab. Performer. It's not a cab. Now, don't call his car a cab.
See?
He knows it's a cab. Well, tell people what happens.
It's a small limousine.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. All right, SL. Tell everybody what happens when you walk into your small limousine.
I go into my little act. I become DJ Uber Lee.
You don't wear a hat, do you?
No, I don't do none of that.
You ain't driving Miss Daisy.
No, hell no. I ain't
sunglasses on, but no hat.
Yeah,
okay.
At night.
Right.
I wear my song. Who was that?
Corey Hart.
That's right.
Now, when they get in, I ask the question, where you headed? And then I hit the song.
Ain't you supposed to know? You're supposed to know before you pick them up.
We slow down, Jim Shoe.
Oh, okay.
Then I hit the staple singers. Boom, 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 boom. I'll take you there, wherever you want to go.
Oh, hell.
I do. I bust them out. They just break out laughing.
See, I'd put I don't drive 55 and give them whiplash when I floor it.
See, you're from a different generation. You're from that
I don't drive
generation
55. Who did that?
Sammy Hagar.
That's right. Look at you. You got, boy, look at this. Look, he done pulled two white boys out before I could think of them.
Yeah, he was working at
you whiter than I am.
At WLS back in the day. He grew up on the top 40 stations.
Yeah. I ain't mad.
So
that was impressive. I was thinking what you call it, Van Halen. I don't know why.
Because he joined Van Halen after David Lee Roth left.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
You have any other questions?
I don't know, Mr. Chris Kasem.
Right.
God, I love that. I love when he cuts people out that now famous audio.
Oh, you remember that?
About back selling. Oh my God, that's classic, man. Casey Kasem, man.
Can you start the song again, please? See, when you got to come out of those uptempo goddamn numbers, man, and then you got to go into somebody dying. Right. I don't know why they do this to me for.
Dying, right.
Is Don on the phone? Okay. I want a goddamn concerted effort to not come out of a fucking up-tempo record, and I got to talk about a fucking dog dying. Hi, I'm Casey Kasem. Then he goes right back.
He was having a meltdown in the production room. Definitely.
My favorite is the liner bloopers. Have you ever heard those where he's doing liners for stations like, hey, I'm Casey Kasem. Join me this Sunday and every Sunday morning at 2. 2? He's like,
you running my show at 2 a.m.?
2 in the morning? Hi, I'm Casey Kasem. Join me immediately following the Trailblazer. What the fuck am I doing? Promos inside of a game? I mean, he just, then he's trying to get one call letter, and he's like, join me this Friday on 107. Oh, fuck. It's just like have you heard those, Lee?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I was going to send them to you.
Yeah.
God rest your soul, Casey Kasem.
Yeah. Did they
Voice
ever-
of Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo. Voice of Shaggy.
Yep.
That's right.
Robin from Batman and Robin in the 70s.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
has
right.
his family settled their little feud?
Well, his body's somewhere. His wife has him, in Russia or somewhere, and his family wants his body back. And seriously, his body was
some
buried
crap.
in Europe.
Well, he's from
Yeah.
somewhere over there, isn't he? Wasn't he from Croatia?
He
Or?
looked Middle East. No, he was born in Detroit in 1932. He was buried in Oslo, Norway.
Is that where he is?
That's where his wife was from.
Oh, okay.
So she buried him in Norway.
And the
You know,
daughter
he was born. He worked
wasn't
at. You know, he worked at. I think he worked at WJLB at some point.
Really? I didn't know that. Or
I
was it?
think so. Let me.
Was
let
it
me
the
look
Big
at
Eight?
it. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up because radio. I think it's
Casey Kasem.
I think it's that Radio 440. Satisfy. Here we go. Yeah, let's see. Full listing.
Yeah, them LA jocks back in the day, you had him, you had Bob Eubanks. I mean, they were working pretty steadily, man.
Yeah.
Let's
Bob
go
Eubanks,
stations. W.
Forgot that he was a disc jockey. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
W. Let's go to JLB. All right. Yeah, because when I pull it up, it showed my name on there, but then it showed previous jocks that worked there, and it showed
Chris, who's your all-time favorite DJ?
mine.
No, Chris.
Oh,
I'll come back to you.
yeah.
All-time favorite. That's a tough one. Because, as you know, here in Chicago, man, there's just so many great talents, man.
Yeah.
And not because we know each other, just before, of course, I met you, my all-time favorite always would be Doug Banks. Doug was the guy that I grew up listening with, going back to BMX, over to GCI. In fact, I remember he went on GCI doing evenings
That's right.
before he went to morning. So I followed his career for a long time and got a chance to meet him personally, and then we became friends. I mean, that was like, the end all to be all for me. Because
Right.
the thing about Doug was, it always come up in radio during that time going to school, was that Doug set the bar so high that we just wanted to try to get that energy that he had.
Yeah.
And he was all over the place. And once he had the crew around him when he got to GCI, it just fit with Harold Lee Rush and Bobby DeShong. It was just that classic morning radio team.
Right.
And you know somebody's unique when he or she is beloved no matter where they go. And everybody I talked to before I even got on the radio just loved this man.
Yeah.
And so then being in his presence, when I got a chance to meet him, I understood why. So
Yeah,
he
he was
is
electric.
all-time favorite.
Yeah. What about
Yeah,
you?
Casey worked at WJLB in 1954.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was before I was in the business. Now, who's
Yeah,
your all-time favorite?
Currently, I'm telling you that, talent-wise, my current, I think who brings all the skill sets to the table, at least in the urban rhythmic genre, is Rick Party.
Really?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have an air check of Rick when, huh?
I'm not surprised. I think he's outstanding as well.
Yeah, I have an air check of him when he was on Kiss, when Elroy let him go and he went to Kiss in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely one of the best air checks I have ever heard. It was right after 9/11. He did a bit on there with a guy that had a store called Osama's on the South Side or somewhere. And so in Chicago, he calls the guy, messes with him a little bit, but he does it in such a tasteful way.
Right.
Tensions were at such an all-time high, and he does this in such a tasteful way, and then he lets the guy say, I love America, I support the United States, and I love Rick Party, and he did it in such a beautiful way that when people with a name like that probably were catching a lot of flack, Rick made a patriot out of him.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And talked about how he donates food to the block parties for the kids. And it was, I've got it. I'll send it to you. But it's, people would call me and say, hey, I want you to critique my show. I'd say, you know what? Before I critique your show, I'm going to send you an air check and let you listen to this and study this, then and just listen to it and then try to mimic it and then send me something
Interesting.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you set the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick
Right.
is an outstanding radio personality. I would put him in my top 10 list as well. And I remember when this kid started, he started, right there in Chicago, but his early connection was with Earl Boston, who was doing
Right.
a show at
That's right.
WBMX when I was a program director there, and he used to call Earl every day on the request line, and that's how he got the fever. So when I know history on people like that, they are true hardcore radio people, not freaking comedians, former
Right.
recording artists, or any of that. They're true radio people first and forever. So I totally respect Rick Party. I talk to him from time to time. Talked to him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hold on, I'm playing. Hold on. I was playing something in my. Let me stop it. I'm sorry. I was playing. I didn't mean to do that. Rick.
Flashbacks.
Rick called me and no, it was an MP3 playing in my headphones. So I couldn't hear anything.
Oh,
Rick called me in 2000. Let's see, 2000. I was down in Louisiana doing a morning show, and Rick called me and said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about getting into voiceover work." And it might have been 1999, but he said, I'm thinking about doing some voiceover work, and I need some guidance on equipment to buy. And so I talked to him, told him, suggested a mic and some compressors and this, that, and the third. And shit, a year and a half later, I heard his voice on one of the stations in the market, and then it wasn't 6-7 years later, I heard him on BET,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, man, I mean, I didn't mind giving you some suggestions, but I didn't want you to, I didn't want you to pass me up. I didn't want Danielson beating Mr. Miyagi's ass.
Wax on, wax off, right?
But I didn't want you to wax my ass.
He speaks Spanish as well, so he does a lot
Yeah,
of
he
stuff.
does. Yeah.
Was it
He-
Telemundo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He works on Univision.
Univision.
I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. But he speaks Spanish well, so
Yeah,
he's
he does. And Rick's a good father. He's a good human being. He brings all that to the table. I think his only weakness ever was women, and I ain't mad at him. And you share that sentiment, don't you?
a little bit.
I
Yeah.
said cinnamon.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He
Sentiments.
shared it.
Yeah.
he got children in
We're
different
all-
area codes like you.
No, I don't. I do not. No, don't put me in that category. I got 3, and I know.
But he's got his children.
I know where
his
they
daughter
are.
had a scholarship to Juilliard, and she went there, and she was a dancer at Juilliard School of Art.
Fantastic.
Beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
And what a great guy, though. No, I mean, I think in terms of somebody who can get in there, chop up a bit, run it back, he's got that natural swag.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a decent voice, and he absolutely still today gets a kick out of going on the air and hitting the post. But
Absolutely.
but he's evolved as the format has evolved. So he's embraced new theories and new philosophies
Yeah.
with new ratings, the PPM. So to me, he's probably one of the best in the game right now.
I agree with you.
And why he's not in the afternoon as opposed to Baisden or D.L. Hughley baffles me. If I had
Well,
a
because-
syndication company, I would be trying to have the Rick Party show in the afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you what he shared with me was the station management felt that, or heard that another station in town was thinking about putting it Baisden on, so this was a defensive move to put him on. So, I would say
Yeah.
put his ass on and let me whip it.
Right,
You know?
right.
Bring Baisden in, put him on the competition, and just tighten up your show. And I think Rick Party could have held him off without any
Right.
any
Of course.
problem.
Oh, he would have waxed that ass.
Yep.
And
that's a
and
better story than bringing him, putting the guy on your team.
Well, the show's having the other show you mentioned is having some issues. I mean, I got one of my PDs is like, yo, I'm about to pull it. He's
Based in
the tones
already?
Yeah, he's like, the tones aren't firing. You know, the network's not getting the tones right, and the music is just you have no control. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and unfortunately, that person that's the show's wrapped around, I thought he may have learned his lesson from his previous mistakes. Obviously not.
Now,
And
who's the
it's
distributor? Is that American Radio Network?
It's Eric Faison up there at
Yeah, American Radio Network.
mhm.
Or
Yeah, there you
well, I
are,
think they call it Access, All Access, or something now. Access.
And Eric's a great guy.
He
I have
is.
nothing
He's a
but great
fantastic
things
guy.
to say about Eric. If he's going through what other people went through down in Dallas, I feel for him right now.
Yeah. No, he's a class act. I like him.
Nah, Eric's a great. I wanted to work for Eric, but it never worked out. We were close to it a couple times, and just didn't.
Well, you know,
it
you
didn't
keep
happen
putting your
quick enough.
you put your foot in your mouth. You know it. Come on.
No, Eric and I were ready, but then an opportunity came for me somewhere else, and I'm like, hey, man, can we move? Because if not, I mean, I really want to work for you, but I got to bounce, you know, so I'm
Right.
going to take this thing down here,
Got to bust and move.
Florida. So I had to, unless you're going to send me some groceries and pay my rent, I got to bounce. I mean, I can wait if you can put me on a retainer or something.
That's right.
But nah, great guy, and then everybody that I know that's worked for Eric has said nothing but fantastic things about him.
Yeah. No, he's a good guy. I worked with him through some syndication shows as well. Yeah. No, he's a good guy.
All right, Lisa, who's your all-time favorite?
Right. Hello.
Oh man, I don't know. I have so many. So many.
Working today. Who do you think's one of the best
Well,
today?
working today.
Yeah.
I have to echo Rick Party. I think he's outstanding.
Absolutely.
Most of the air personalities today are voice tracking. You know, and I can tell because it's too precise. When I listen to many of the stations originating on Sirius XM, their Hits 1 channel, for example, their Top 40 channel, Channel 2 on Sirius XM. There's no doubt in my mind those shows are not live, they're voice tracked, because they never, ever, ever miss a post. It's too perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Or they're cutting the breaks 30 minutes ahead of time, and then
Oh, no question.
Purdue.
Yeah, and they
that's
throw
the
it
way
into the
Baston
system.
was doing. Juan D was putting the breaks in. He was never really live, maybe 20% of the time.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are cheating like that, and I don't appreciate that. I think that's just because you have the ability to do it doesn't mean you should.
Oh, you want them playing carts and records again, don't you?
No. I don't mind the digital.
You want me chopping my phone bits on a razor blade, don't you?
If you're good at it, why not?
Yeah.
Most of these guys couldn't even hold a razor blade properly. So
Yeah, if I gave most of these guys today a China marker, they wouldn't know. They'd be drawing on the walls with
that's
it. They wouldn't know what
exactly
to do
right.
with it.
Exactly. But no, I'm not suggesting we go back to that. But I like live radio. Live radio,
do I.
and if you make a mistake every now and then, that's okay because it's human. It's to
Right.
be expected,
right.
and it's okay. The perfection that I hear today is like it's clinical. You know what I mean?
Sally Yates is testifying right now too, by the way,
Yeah, we want to.
as we speak. Yeah, but you don't want to go to it.
No, we're going to take a little piece of it, just a tad. It's
Oh,
11:47.
Lord.
Come on.
Yeah. I'd rather you play Rick Party's Air Check than listen to that. People can go watch that.
That's because you listen. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Here
this
we
is
go.
Here's the
Here
same.
we go.
Here's the same guy that
Here
came
we
out
go.
and apologized today for not voting for Hillary. Okay.
That's apples and oranges. Sally Yates ain't running to office.
No.
Go fuck yourself with an organically grown cucumber. How about that?
No, that ain't gonna work. Not up in here because listen, you didn't listen then. You're not listening.
You're
now.
right, Lee, and you know what? I cannot evolve if I don't admit that I took a
There you
wrong
go.
turn back.
There you go. Now-
so I had to give you that,
Okay.
and God bless you.
Okay.
But don't play Sally Yates.
Come on, man.
Don't play
Diabetes.
Sally Yates.
Hey, that was funny as hell, Chris. What you sent me?
Oh, the
Diabetes.
cat. Oh, the cat. Yeah, man.
Diabetes. Shit, I fell out the chair laughing. And
That
my daughter
cat
was
looked
my
just
daughter was
like
here
him.
this weekend, and that was our thing, So
Oh,
I
for
said,
real? I didn't know that.
Ashley, come here, baby. And she was, well, what's wrong with that cat? And he goes, diabetes. But she fell in the floor. She fell in the floor
That
laughing.
cat looked just like Wilford Brimley, man.
It does.
I'm telling you. That was
Diabetes.
perfect. Turn
Call
around,
my-
look at the camera. Diabetes.
Call my friends at Liberty Medical. They'll help you live a better life.
I used to eat apple pie and ice cream and get diabetes.
Diabetes. Do you have diabetes?
You know what the old folks used to call it, right?
What?
The sugar.
The sugar. I got that
Yeah.
sugar. You got what?
Grandma got
I'm
the
in
sugar.
church the other
Grandma
day,
got
yeah,
sugar.
Saturday at a funeral, and the pastor kept saying humble. I'm like, there's an H in there. Humble. Can he buy a consonant, please? What the hell with a vowel? He needs to buy a consonant.
Oh, stop it. Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you could do 20 minutes on these preachers, man.
Yeah, no. He got to doing the running man. Of course, it was an AME church. He got to running in place, and his glasses fell off. The other pastor had, a black funeral. He had like 6 pastors from different churches that wanted to come speak.
Right.
And then his glasses fell off. The other pastor got him up, cleaned them, took his handkerchief out, laid them back up. He put them on, took them off again, started wiping his head, slapping the towel. I'm like, Lord.
So he was like Jerome to his Morris Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And he was
Yeah.
running in place, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, God, come on with
Somebody
it.
bring me a mirror.
Yeah, I was waiting on it. But it was a good homegoing celebration, and I was so honored to be asked to be a pallbearer because I love me some Nubby. Mamie Irvin Nubby was what we all called it. That was her
Oh, man.
granny.
What was
Nubby.
her full name?
Mamie? Let's see, Mamie Elizabeth Irvin Irwin
Dang. So what did they call her?
Nubby.
Nubby. Yeah, that's more fitting because that name is too long to remember.
Well, that was her full name. She was
Yeah.
originally Mamie Elizabeth Irvin, and then she married a man named Irwin. So Irvin was her maiden name. Mamie Elizabeth Irvin was her real name, which ain't that bad. Mamie Elizabeth Irvin. We just called her Nubby. That was her.
We got James Clapper talking right now, the former.
Didn't he invent that thing to cut your lights on?
Yeah, clap on, clap off.
Yeah, who did that? Hurt
That
my
was me.
ear.
I did that, man. Yeah.
That shit
The
hurt.
intelligence community assessment
Nice.
concluded first that President Putin directed an influence campaign to erode
Oh,
the faith
Lord.
and confidence of the American people in our
You see how he just
presidential election
gradually
process.
pots it up?
Second, that he did so to demean Secretary Clinton, and third, that he sought to advantage Mr. Trump. These conclusions were reached based on the richness of the information gathered and analyzed, and were thoroughly vetted and then approved by the directors of the 3 agencies and me. These Russian activities and the resultant assessment were briefed first to President Obama on the 5th of January, then to President-elect Trump at Trump Tower on the 6th, and to the Congress via a series of 5 briefings from the 6th through the 13th of January. The classified version was profusely annotated with footnotes drawn from thousands of pages of supporting material. The key judgments in the unclassified version published on the 6th of January were identical to the classified version. While it's been over 4 months since the issuance of this assessment, as Directors Comey and Rogers testified before the House Intelligence Committee on the 20th of March, the conclusions and confidence levels reached at the time still stand. I think that's a statement to the quality and professional of the intelligence community people who produce such a compelling intelligence report during a tumultuous, controversial time under intense scrutiny and with a very tight deadline. Throughout the public dialogue about the issue over the past few months, 4 related topics have been raised that could use some clarification. I'd like to take a few moments to attempt to provide that clarification. First, I want to address the meaning of, quote, unmasking, which is an unofficial term that's appeared frequently in the media in recent months and is often, I think, misused and misunderstood. So it frequently happens that in the course of conducting lawfully authorized electronic surveillance on validated foreign intelligence targets, the collecting agency picks up communications involving U.S. persons. either their direct interface with a validated foreign intelligence target or where there is discussion about those U.S. persons by validated foreign intelligence targets. Under intelligence community minimization procedures, the identities of these U.S. persons are typically masked in reports that go out to intelligence consumers, and they're referred to, each report at a time, as U.S. Person 1, U.S. Person 2, etc. However, there are cases when, to fully understand the context of the communication that has been obtained or the threat that is posed, the consumer of that collected intelligence may ask the identity of the U.S. person be revealed. Such requests explain why the unmasking is necessary, and that explanation is conveyed back to the agency that collected the information. It is then up to that agency whether to approve the request and to provide the identity. And if a U.S. person's identity is revealed, that identity is provided only to the person who properly requested it, not to a broader audience. This process is subject to oversight and reporting, and in the interest of transparency, my former office publishes a report on the statistics of how many U.S. persons' identities are unmasked based on collection that occurred under Section 702 of the FISA Amendment Act, which I'll speak to in a moment. And in 2016, that number was 1,934. On several occasions during my 6.5 years as DNI, I requested the identity of U.S. persons to be revealed. In each such instance, I made these requests so I could fully understand the context of the communication and the potential threat being posed. At no time did I ever submit a request for personal or political purposes or to voyeuristically look at raw intelligence, nor am I aware of any instance of such abuse by anyone else. Second is the issue of leaks. Leaks have been conflated with unmaskings in some of the public discourse, but they are two very different things. An unmasking is a legitimate process that consists of a request and approval by proper authorities, as I've just briefly described. A leak is an unauthorized disclosure of classified or sensitive information that is improper under any circumstance. I've long maintained during my 50-plus year career in intelligence that leaks endanger national security. They compromise sources, methods, and tradecraft, and they can put assets' lives at risk. And for the record, in my long career, I've never knowingly exposed classified information in an inappropriate manner. Third is the issue of counterintelligence investigations conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. While I can't and won't comment in this setting on any particular counterintelligence investigation, it's important to understand how such investigations fit into and relate to the intelligence community and at least the general practice I followed during my time as DNI with respect to FBI counterintelligence investigations. When the intelligence community obtains information suggesting that a U.S. person is acting on behalf of a foreign power, the standard procedure is to share that information with the lead investigatory body, which of course is the FBI. The Bureau then decides whether to look into that information and handles any ensuing investigation.
We're going to bail out here. That's James Clapper, former director of national intelligence, and his opening
Jake Clapper's brother?
I don't know.
Oh, that's Jake Tapper. I'm sorry.
Tapper, yeah.
Yeah, Clapper, Tapper.
So yeah, Clapper I'm assuming.
Could you
this
hear
is
us when that was playing? Did you pot us down when that was playing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I told him this is what you do when you don't do proper show prep. You just pot CNN up and go to the bathroom.
No, that's not true. This is a historic moment, and our listeners need to hear what's going on. See, you got
everything in your life is a historic moment because it's going to be history right after you do it.
You got your hat on backwards, Apollo.
Hat to the back, TLC style.
See, you got your hat on backwards, man. Come on. But anyway, I wanted to play a few minutes of that. I was hoping to get the.
You went to the bathroom too. Tell the truth.
No, I didn't. I was sitting right here listening.
Diabetes.
No.
Hey, I love y'all, man. I gotta get off this phone.
You gotta go make some money.
Yeah, man. You gotta do a TV spot.
Oh, cool.
Well, cool.
Love y'all. And I sent you that air check, Lee. You can listen to it whenever you get a chance one day. One of the best on Rick I've ever heard.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Hey, peace in the Middle East.
Hey, you got it, man. Peace, 2 fingers.
Holla.
Peace and hair
Got it.
grease.
Peace, man.
All right, take care. Hey, we're bringing a close to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you guys for being a part of it. We hope we brought some information that you can use, a little humor, and some good times. That's what it's all about. Chris, thank you again for being here today, and
Oh, man, thank you.
looking forward to you being here tomorrow. And
Yes.
when I decide, which might be real soon, to retire completely from the airwaves, you would be the man that I would hand the mic over to. That's
Oh, man,
I really
don't say that. And nothing worse than seeing a fat man weep.
well, cry on, brother. It's okay. It's human.
Oh, man.
And so that's one of the things I love about you, that you're human, you're transparent, you're funny, you're credible, and I appreciate your talent. I really do. And for all those guys who had the opportunity to hire Chris Bass and you didn't, or for those who hired him and didn't keep him, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you. This guy
You know
has...
what? I'm going to record this. I'm sorry. I'm going to record this, put it, making my new ringtone.
Don't let it go to your head, boy.
Right.
So, all right. So,
But
check
that
out-
means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
No,
Lee.
no, man.
Coming from you, that's the best, man.
well, thank you for being you, and keep on doing you, and don't let nobody else change who you are.
I shan't.
It wouldn't be Chris Bass any other way. So there you
Man,
go.
but passing the mic, man, that's deep.
Well, I'll give you the headphones too.
Oh, I'll take them.
Will you take my ex-wife too while you're at it?
No. Don't let it go to your head.
Take my wife, please.
Right.
All right, folks, thank you for being a part of the show. You made it. Without you, it's just us in here having fun among ourselves. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time on thepowerofvoices.com, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live. Thank you. Have a great day and share some love.